guys, this is going to be about the pets that I do not want to own in the future. I've noticed other YouTubers doing these types of videos, so I thought I would jump in and give it a try. The next video after this is going to be about the pets that I do want to own in the future, so keep an eye out for that. The main reason why a lot of these pets I do not want to own is due to the fact that they are either high maintenance or expensive. Usually the two go together. A lot of people will get annoyed when somebody says they don't want to own certain species because they're high maintenance, because they think it's lazy or something. Two things. One is that this is just about me and my personal preferences. This is not an attack on any of you who own these animals, want to own these animals. And then two is that I think with high maintenance comes a lot of gray area. So for example, there are a lot of animals out there like aquatic species and some reptiles that are look, don't touch pets for various reasons. But they're very expensive to own, they're a lot of work to keep, whereas there are animals like dogs that are high maintenance and expensive and take up a lot of your time, but they're very rewarding to have. So I'm okay with dealing with a more expensive high maintenance animal if there's a lot of return from that animal for me as a pet owner. I'm going to start with the section that I'm calling reptiles / amphibians / other. So the very first thing is large lizards, for example, tegus, iguanas, and monitor lizards. So it's not that I don't love these lizards, I actually think they're amazing. I think especially tegus and savanna monitors have amazing personalities. I just know that I do not have the experience or the expertise to own these sorts of animals. They are not beginner pets, they are not even intermediate pets. They are also very expensive to own, they are a lot of work, they require a lot of space. Other lizards that I don't want to own are chameleons, water dragons, and anole lizards. So with chameleons, I think they're really cool. They personally don't appeal to me because if you're going to take care of a chameleon correctly, it is very high maintenance. It is a very fragile creature. They require a really big setup. They're just an animal that would personally stress me out too much to have. Water dragons are really cool, and I actually looked into owning them, but when I did my research, I realized that A, they require water. Who knew? They're not an aquatic species, but they do need a body of water to live their best life. They also require a very big setup. Anole lizards, I just have never had any interest in owning. All of them are really fast and you really can't hold them. They are very much a look, don't touch pet. In a similar vein are more high maintenance geckos. So if you don't know, I currently own 3 crested geckos. I love geckos so much. I think they're my favorite species of lizard, period. But there are some that I would not own, such as the Leachianus gecko, the day gecko, and the tokay gecko. Now all of these have reputations for being aggressive / shy. They don't appeal to me as pets. I don't want to own any very large snakes. The largest snake that I'm willing to own is a ball python. Anything bigger than that, I think I do not have the expertise or experience to properly keep them. They are also just very expensive because they're big. You need a really big setup. A lot of them are just more tricky to own for various reasons. Their temperament. Oh my god, there's a blender running. I have to consider what is going to stress me out too much and overwhelm me too much. And if that's the case, then I can't properly take care of an animal, so it's not fair for the animal to take those in, even though I really do love large snakes. I love frogs, but one that I will not own is Pac-Man frog. I love Pac-Man frogs. I think they're hilarious. I think they're adorable. I think they're beautiful, but I also think they are so boring. Any sort of terrestrial frog that basically just digs a hole for itself and sits in the dirt all day and all night, and that is all it does, I am not interested in having. I don't want any aquatic species. I personally find water tank maintenance and stuff way too stressful. So that includes fish, aquatic frogs, aquatic turtles, and axolotls. I don't want to own any insects or spiders. I love pretty much all animals, but Most insects I draw the line at, and I am an arachnophobe, so I will never have spiders. Now for the section of mammals and birds. So I've owned these before, but I don't want to own them again, and that is guinea pigs. Now, people love guinea pigs, and I'm sure this will offend people because lots of people have guinea pigs and lots of people have good experiences with them. My experience was not a great one. They were way too skittish and impossible to tame. I tried for a whole year. I did everything under the sun that was recommended to me, and it did not work. They cost me more money than any other animal I've had, just with their general upkeep, their diet. They required more cleaning than any of my animals ever have, even my rabbits. It was just an exhausting animal to have because I felt like I was giving everything to them and not receiving anything in return. I do not want chinchillas. They don't appeal to me as pets. I don't want degus. I just don't find them very interesting. I don't want gerbils. I just don't think they're very interesting. I think they're adorable. I always look at them when I go to the pet store, but I personally don't want any. Hedgehogs. So hedgehogs are adorable, and they're one of those animals that every time I see them I'm like, oh my god. But when I did my research, I realized that there's a lot about them that does not appeal to me personally as a pet. For example, the fact that they tend to just hide away all the time. That they're pretty grumpy most of the time. They do require a large setup. They are very messy, and there's just a lot of cleaning involved. Again, for an animal that I probably won't get much out of. Sugar gliders. Now this is a much more exotic pet and less common, at least where I live. They are adorable, but I personally just don't have an interest in owning them. This one is a hard one because I always thought that I would have these one day, and that is ferrets. I love ferrets. I think they're hilarious. I think they're adorable. I just think they're a lot of work. They require a lot from you, a lot of attention, a lot of cleaning. I will mention here that it would be different if ferrets or any other high maintenance animal that I've mentioned were the only animal that I had. I personally see myself always owning multiple species at a time, so I need to think about what is going to be too much for me. So if I have multiple animals that are high maintenance, or I have multiple that are low maintenance but one that is really high maintenance, that's gonna be too overwhelming for me. And then for birds, finches don't interest me. I think they're adorable. They can be fun to watch because they're very active, but they're not really an interactive pet. And any large parrots. Again, I think they're very tricky to own. They're high maintenance, they're expensive. You need a lot of experience and expertise behind you to deal with them because they are not a beginner or even an intermediate pet. So as much as I love them, there's just lots of reasons why I would never want to own one myself. So that is all for like the most common types of pets that people own that I personally do not want to ever own. I hope this was interesting somewhat. Please check into the next video, which will be about all the animals I do want to own. Let me know in the comments what animals you do not want to own for whatever reason, and I will see you in my next video.